Good.
Or is it
Good.
just the red?
It's probably just the red.
Okay.
I'll take it though.
I've had this major.
Hey everyone, say hi as you are hopping on. I'm just gonna share this with my team. So someone say something so I can make sure that the comments are working. Oh, and then there was light. Hey Mandy, hey Kimberly. I am alive. I always misjudge my ability to get ready in a timely fashion. And I was so tired after Kambo last night, I actually didn't shower, which is crazy. So I for sure needed to shower before getting on this live stream. Hey, hi everyone. Okay, so how's everyone going? I look mermaid-esque. Well, I'll take it. Sounds good to me. I'll be a mermaid. I was just saying to Soraya, I'm like, my hair is wet. I feel like, I don't know. It is what it is. Hello, Kambo sister, queen of the downloads. Can I just tell you guys about Taryn doing Kambo while we're waiting for the rest of the people to get on? So while everybody else is like dying and struggling, Kambo in Taryn is like, she's just like sitting there, like in her mudra with her bucket, just all beautiful and elegant. And then when it comes time for her to purge, she's just like, she literally puts her hand over her face like this and goes, and like opens her mouth and like her vomit comes out and she's literally like, no noise. And then she sits back up in her mudra. And I'm just like, excuse me. Meanwhile, I was like The Exorcist. My face was all swollen. I'm like,
I was the Exorcist child.
that was it. That was my experience of Kambo. Taryn being elegant as always, and me like in the depths of hell. So that's pretty much, if you want a picture of Taryn and I from yesterday, that is what it was. Exorcist, Taryn Lee, like channeling I don't know what, just all beautiful and calm. Like, it was ridiculous. I did hate her for a little while last night, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, who even does that? Who gets to have that experience? Meanwhile, I'm like dying. I felt like I was dying for a minute, for sure. See, Catherine, we should have gone together because that's what I was doing. I wasn't screaming, but I was crying and dying and really wanting to run far, far, far away. Meanwhile, Pete didn't purge at all. Pete was just there like absorbing all the medicine. He was just like, rah. I'm pretty sure Pete is gonna turn into a frog like sometime in the next couple of days. Soraya had a rough go. Soraya and I had a rough go of it. Pete, I'm pretty sure, is turning into a frog like any minute. And Taryn was
No, I'm pretty sure I took on all of Pete's shit.
sitting on her throne the whole time. So I have all of my Kambo people here. Pete and Taryn are watching, and Soraya's sitting right here. She's gonna come on and share some of her story in a bit. But we all did Kambo yesterday. So, and the really interesting thing is I woke up this morning, I literally opened my eyes and it was like all of this business stuff coming to me, which wasn't the case last time I did Kambo. So I guess I'll just back up a little bit. well, first I'll just say, one of the things was I really wanted to live stream, and I have not wanted to live stream for months. Like, I have not wanted to get on a live stream for months. And so I was like, oh my God, it's back. I want to live stream. So that's why I'm here live streaming with 33 people on right now, which is epic. That's why I'm here live streaming. So let me tell you a little bit about my Kambo journey. So gosh, Taryn, I don't even remember when it was. Do you? I know that the second time I did Kambo was in July. And I think we went either the end of May or the beginning of July, the first time. So I, after coming to Bali, was really, really called to Kambo. Kambo is an African tree frog. And the medicine is a deep, deep cleansing, and it can cleanse a variety of things, emotional, physical. So when I came to Bali, and it was actually November of 2019 that I was called by the frog. And so November of 2019, and Maria is actually watching this live stream. Maria and I hosted a retreat here in Bali, and it's not actually poison, interestingly enough. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But Maria and I hosted a retreat here in Bali, and one of the retreat participants is a longtime client and friend of mine. And she was talking about Kambo, her experiences with Kambo at this retreat. And I just had this knowing inside of me that I needed to do Kambo. And so to give you a little bit of my history with plant medicine, or really drugs in general, I had at this point like zero tolerance. Like, I was never able to smoke marijuana or consume cannabis in any way. Every time I would smoke marijuana or try to eat an edible or whatever, I would get violently ill. And I did mushrooms once in high school, had a massive allergic reaction, ended up in the ER. Like, my body just would not tolerate any type of hallucinogenic or plant medicine, really. Really the only types of drugs I ever was able to do were uppers, and certainly not things that created hallucinogenic experiences. I had a really, really, really bad thing happen to me in high school. I was in a place called Escalante, which is where part of Lake Powell is in Utah. I don't know if those of you are familiar. There's a beautiful, beautiful area called Lake Powell in Utah. But we were at Escalante and everyone was going cliff jumping, and I didn't want to go. I'm super afraid of heights, so I wasn't gonna go. And so a friend of mine had brought a whole bunch of acid on this trip, and he gave me a sheet of acid that he had in his pants. And he was like, will you hold this? Because I wasn't going in the water and they were all going in the water. So I put the sheet of acid in my back pocket, and I got pushed in the water, and I had on like denim jean shorts, and I forgot that I had the acid in my pocket, and it literally like all absorbed into my bloodstream, and it was a really, really horrendous next 48 hours really. And so I just have been a person that like avoids all of that kind of stuff. And so it was a big deal when I got called by the frog. And for those of you that have been private clients of mine or have been working with me in a mid to high level way over the last several years, you'll know that I've had some pretty debilitating health things happening over the last 4.5 to 5 years. Now, when I say that, I say debilitating for me, like I know that there are certainly so many people out there in the world that are suffering with things that are so much worse than the things that I've gone through. So that isn't to discount anybody else's experience. But for me, these have been really, really difficult. I had Jack when I was 38, and I turned 39 shortly after. I nursed him for 3.5 years. I was a vegan during that time. I wasn't properly supplementing, and my body really just broke down. I went into full adrenal fatigue. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. I got on medication for hypothyroidism, but within a year, that hypothyroidism turned into reverse T3 syndrome that I was never able to get properly medicated. And once I had reverse T3 syndrome, I got frozen shoulder in both shoulders and was unable to move my arms like above here. I mean, so many things associated with thyroid illness, which if you have thyroid illness or you've suffered with thyroid stuff, you know that like it basically affects all areas of your body once your thyroid begins to shut down. So it's been a journey and it's been a struggle, and I've tried like all forms of Eastern medicine, all forms of Western medicine. I've literally done all the things, but the thyroid breaking down really was the thing that started my self-mastery journey. And I mean that in like all areas of my life, right? Like not just my physical body and health, but it took me to a whole other level with my spiritual body and my spiritual health, and my spiritual self-mastery. So in that process of really trying to discover like what it was in me, because I knew that, you know, it was partially emotional, it was partially physical, like I just embarked on this journey of discovery. And so it's one of the things that brought human design into my life, because I was fascinated by PHS, the personal health system in human design. So human design, it is certainly what brought 5-element theory into my life, which then, you know, created this incredible journey that I've been on with Michelle Patrick, and then the creation of our programs, Inner Alchemy and Becoming Immortal, and now our modality, emotional resonance clearing, and our practitioner training. I'm going to talk about some of that stuff a little bit later in the live stream, but yeah, and so it is partially what brought me to Bali. I knew I needed to get out of the United States because I was not going to be able to heal my body in the United States. Like even the organic food in the United States is shit and riddled with hormones and pesticides. And so, you know, it's one of the big things my body really pushed me to move to Bali. Yeah, so it has been like the hardest journey of my life. It has been the biggest struggle that I've faced, even bigger than the collapse of my businesses, even bigger than any of that stuff. And at times it has felt like the most daunting, most impossible thing to overcome. I still struggle with this stuff. I'm still working on it. It's a journey it's a progress journey for sure. And it also has been like one of the biggest blessings in my life. And I think I realized so much, especially after yesterday's Kambo session, I'm realizing how grateful I am for these health issues, because they've brought so many incredible people into my life. It's brought so much growth and expansion into my life. And I don't talk about it a lot because I'm not a health coach. I'm a wealth consciousness coach, and I think that there is this whole other side of my business, the immortal alchemy side, with Inner Alchemy and Becoming Immortal and the practitioner training. Like definitely, I think you'll see me stepping more into sharing this journey in that aspect of my business. But up until this point, it's just kind of been a really personal struggle. It's been a personal process. It's been a personal journey. I don't even talk about it that much with my friends, really. I think they know about it, they know little bits of it, but it's been a very personal experience. And so I just felt called to like hop on and talk about it today. And so I really feel like Kambo has been the most impactful part of the change that I've had when it comes to this health stuff. So I was called to it in November of 2019. I immediately started seeing frogs everywhere, and I hadn't seen frogs in Bali, which was really crazy. And literally, like after I made the decision to do Kambo, I would like wake up every day and there'd be like 2 frogs in my shower. Like they were everywhere. Like this confirmation of, yes, you need to do this. Yes, you need to do this. Yes, you need to do this. So I actually started looking for somebody straight away, like in November, and interestingly enough, was referred by Dane Thomas to Matilda, who I did Kambo with yesterday. And I just never reached out to her. I don't know why. Like, I got on her page and I was just like, not sure. Like, not sure she's the person for me. And then it wasn't until sometime in May, I believe, that I found this woman, Esther, and I just really felt her vibe. I felt, it was like, yes, I want to do that. And then sometime, either the end of May or beginning of June, I went and sat with Kambo for my first time. So Kambo is the secretion of an African tree frog. It is a misconception that Kambo is a poison. It's actually not a poison. It feels a lot like a poison, but it's actually not a poison. It is absolutely a medicine, and it has been used for centuries to treat a whole host of things, to do a whole host of spiritual things. But one of the things that it is really, really well known for is healing of hormonal issues. And so when I had started to research it and see like just how impactful it is in resetting the entire endocrine system, it's not just our female or male sexual hormones. It's literally the entire endocrine system that it resets. I just was blown away. And I was like, wow, like I knew it was for me. I was terrified, by the way. I was terrified because you hear these horror stories. It is not a pleasant experience. Like, it is not the fun of really any other plant medicine journey. I haven't done ayahuasca. I don't know that I ever will. I haven't been called to it yet. Though I got a little twinge of like, maybe I should do ayahuasca at the end of my Kambo ceremony. So I'll talk about that in a minute also. But so it has like these, and just definitely research it. It has these incredible peptides in it that enter into your lymphatic system, through your bloodstream, and then literally go to wherever in your body needs healing. And you feel it. Let me just tell you, you feel it. I have no idea about practitioners in the United States. No idea, absolutely no idea. So maybe, I think Erica's on here and she's in the United States, and it sounds like she's had some good experiences with a practitioner in the United States. I don't know any in the United States, unfortunately. So what Kambo does is creates a quite violent purge of whatever it is in your body that needs to be released, whether it's emotional or physical. And so the first time I went and did Kambo, I went with a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch, but several new friends. They were newish friends at the time, which is interesting. But Taryn, who's on, and Max and Sarah, maybe I shouldn't be telling this, but I think they all tell everyone, so it's not a big deal. And then Sean and I. And the first time we went, it was, so all my ceremonies have been here in Bali, 2 in Ubud and 1 just next door over in Sese, at Taryn's house yesterday. So I know that if you are choosing a practitioner, you definitely should choose one that's certified. Make sure that, they have really done the training that's necessary. I would definitely not work with anyone that hadn't been working with the medicine for at least 3 years. I would ask them, how many dietas they've done with the medicine, how much training they've done with the medicine. I think that be wise about choosing practitioners, definitely. Just because you want somebody that can hold really good space for you, because you are going to want to stop at some point. Like, you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to you're going to be like, I fucking cannot do this. And it's important that you get the purge out of your system, right? So the first time we did it actually, because I had been so hyped up by people to be like, it's so horrible, it's so awful, it's horrible. There's no beautiful hallucinogenic anything. You're literally just in the fucking depths of hell with yourself and your demons. And yeah, it's a very physical medicine. It's a very in your physical body medicine. And if you're like me at all, I'm a person that likes to dissociate from my physical body a lot. It's very difficult because you really can't check out. And it was interesting because that was something I was battling in my ceremony yesterday. Actually, I really just was trying so hard to dissociate, and I recognized that I actually had done it in my last ceremony, and I am really grateful to Matilda. I need to message her today about this actually, but I'm really grateful because she kept me very present and made me keep coming back to my body. And that was really helpful because last time when it got hard, I left my body for sure. I for sure did. Like, I recognized it now that happened in my second ceremony. My second ceremony was brutal, not as brutal as yesterday. So yes, my first time doing Kambo, the first time we did Sinenga. So Sinenga is a medicine that's made from the bark of a tree and in Africa, and it is, or maybe Peru. I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure if Sinenga is from Africa or Peru, but it's from the bark of a tree. And it feels like someone is stabbing you in the eyeballs with 1,000 tiny knives coated in habanero chili. That's what it feels like. It's not a pleasant experience. But I will tell you this, my first Kambo experience, I did the Sinenga first, and I had a beautiful, after the excruciating pain, which goes away in about 1 minute. So it's about 1 minute of being like, what have I done to myself? I am going to be blind from this moment forward. About a minute later, it goes away, and I had a really incredible, very beautiful spiritual experience where ancestors that had never come to me in that way came to me. A new spirit animal, this beautiful panther, came to me, and yeah, it set me up to have a really beautiful Kambo experience. So the first one was like, I think we all left, and I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Like, but the second that I walked in to the ceremony, I knew I had to do it 2 more times. So it was very clear, the medicine spoke very clearly to me that I needed to do Kambo 3 times to complete this cycle of healing my endocrine system. Like, it was like, yes, you need to do this, like, absolutely. So, my first experience with Kambo, there was a lot of purging. It was not easy, but I was like, I don't know what everyone was talking about. This wasn't so hard. And so I left knowing I needed to do it again. And that night I went to bed, and as I was going to bed, I had a horrible hormone headache came on. And that was interesting because I had these really bad, I don't know if any of you have had them, but they're hormone headaches that are exclusive to, like, you don't get them any other time other than when you're pregnant. And I had those with Jack the whole time I was pregnant with Jack, and it was really difficult. I was on like the highest dose of narcotics I could be on while pregnant. It was really, really miserable. And so that night I got one of those headaches, and I was like happy because I was like, wow, obviously this is healing, right? Like, I have this hormone headache that you literally can't get. They don't come when you're not pregnant. So I got one, and then I was like, oh yeah, like, obviously this is healing. This is great. And in that moment that headache was coming on, the medicine spoke to me, and it was like, you need to get your IUD out. And I was like, what the hell? I'd completely forgotten I had an IUD. I got it in 6 weeks after I had Jack. The whole journey of the stuff with my thyroid and my health, not one Eastern medicine or one Western medicine doctor had asked me if I was on birth control or if I had an IUD. And it was like the most mind-blowing thing. And I was like, whoa, so crazy. It was so crazy to me that I had forgotten that I had this hormone, this IUD, which was the Mirena IUD, which literally is putting synthetic hormone into your body. And a lot of the symptoms that I had were very much in line with what can happen in your body when you have an IUD, but it was just crazy. I mean, like, I literally have a class, like a series of classes called Lunar Moon Magic, where I talk about how horrible synthetic birth control is. So I literally had this had been cloaked in my system. It was wild. So I went to bed that night, and in the morning had totally forgotten again. So for 2 or 3 days after, completely forgot. and then remembered again and was like, holy shit, like what is going on with this? This is crazy. Because the medicine again said to me 2 or 3 days later, it was like, get that IUD out. And when I say the medicine said to me, like, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but literally like the medicine has a voice, and it was very distinct and very clear to me that like the medicine was like, get this IUD out. So I made an appointment with the doctor for the next day, because I was like, I can't forget this again. I have to do this. So I made an appointment with the doctor for the next day, went to have the IUD out, and they couldn't remove it in the office because it was literally encased in scar tissue and pockets of hormones. So they did an ultrasound, and you could see, like you couldn't even see the IUD. You could see a little bit of the strings, but it was like these black pockets of hormones on the ultrasound where like scar tissue and hormones were just surrounding it. So I had to actually go under general anesthesia and have it removed in Bali, which was an experience all of its own that I won't tell on this live stream, but that was a journey in and of itself. So I went, and the doctor was literally like, when I went to, normally it's like you have to schedule a surgery and it's a couple weeks out. Like if you're in the United States, you go, you need to have surgery. And then it's like, okay, let's book a OR. We have to go call the hospital. We have to book an OR, and we have to do all these things. And literally the doctor was like, yeah, you need to have that surgically removed. So be at the hospital at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I was like, what? Like, don't even know how I feel about going under general anesthesia and having surgery in Bali in the first place. But then it's like, you don't even have time to, like, it's Bali, right? Like, no, you're doing it tomorrow morning. So I had the IUD out, and I mean, there's a whole series of things. Essentially, I had the IUD out. I went and then ended up having had to basically have an exorcism of whatever was in this IUD out of my body by my husband and my friend Zephyria. So that was a journey. And then I was like, okay, after I had that out, I was like, yep, I'm ready for my next Kambo. And that one was like, get the rest of this anesthesia out of my system, and also the next phase of the hormone healing. And I went with my friend Sarah. It was just the two of us that time, and it was fucking brutal. And I don't know, I'm like trying to be like, which one was worse? I actually feel like yesterday was worse. Maybe it's just because I'm far away from that other experience, and yesterday was yesterday. But in my second experience, my face completely swelled up like a bullfrog. My eyes could barely open. Yesterday I had some swelling, but it was nowhere near as bad as the second time. It was rough. I wanted to quit in the middle. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could make it through it. It's definitely a warrior medicine. It shows you what you're made of. Because really there is no choice when you're in it. You have to get out. Like, you can't stay in it. It's just, and it doesn't just go away. Like, you have to do the things to get yourself through the process. And so it was really intense. I do feel like it's interesting that you said you had yours removed 9 years ago and been healing your body since. I do feel like the majority of the healing was done after the second session of Kambo, but I knew that I had to do the third. So I feel like the majority of the like healing around the damage that had been done by the IUD was in the second one. And it was, I mean, those pockets of hormones came out. They were in the bucket, like for real. Like they were in the purge. It was ugly. It was ugly. And so that one was really rough. So that was in July. It's taken me this long to go back for the third one. And I thought I was going to do all three in 2020. 6 months. Yeah, it took me 6 months to go back for the final. It also probably had something to do with Esther, who was my practitioner for the first two, ended up going back to Holland. So she hasn't been here. And then coronavirus, obviously. I mean, there was just all this stuff that happened. And yeah. So we did it yesterday, and it was and it was actually beautiful for me that it ended up being now in 2021, because I, as of December, moved into my 9 universal year, which is the year of completion. So it was like really beautiful for me to complete that cycle in my 9 year, in my year of completion, moving into this new year also, like, so there was beautiful symbolism there. It was really painful. It was much more painful, physically painful in my body this time than last time, which is why I think I'm kind of like, it was worse than the second time, because this.
She did it stronger.
Oh yeah, she gave me a strong medicine. But the medicine that I had the middle time felt equally, if not more strong than the medicine that I had yesterday. But it physically, like in my whole uterus area, like it felt like in my fallopian tubes, like it was physically, I was in physical pain yesterday, and I wasn't in physical pain during my second. I mean, a little bit of discomfort, but this was like I was being stabbed in the fallopian tubes with knives. Like it was quite brutal. And yeah, it was rough. So the beautiful thing about Kambo, the really amazing thing is it's fucked while you're in it. It is like so hard, but you have this clarity on the other side of it. Like not yesterday, not last night. I was fucked last night. But I woke up this morning, you feel so clear. Like your vision is clearer, your just insights. I think that Soraya is going to share a little bit about her experience in a minute. And I think like you can be in quite a voidy space, I think, for a day or two, like as you're recalibrating everything. I think because I've already done it, like my first time I definitely was like, just stayed in my room for like 2 days. Like I was like, I just want to like be to myself in my room. I think even last time I was pretty much like in bed the second day, just relaxing. Today I feel amazing. Like I feel really good. I literally woke up like super excited about my business, super excited about coming on and live streaming. Like I said, I haven't wanted to live stream in months. And just excited to like share a little bit about this journey. And, this, like, it's taken me on this incredible journey. So since doing Kambo, and one of my intentions, it was the body and the endocrine system healing and my hormone healing, getting my libido back. Like that was one of my intentions in my first one. And then the other intention was for Kambo to heal whatever in me was keeping me from being able to experience plant medicine, because I had been called to a couple of other ones, but I didn't want to do them until I knew it was healed. So after my first session of Kambo, was it my first one? Yeah, so after my first session of Kambo, I took some THC oil and I was totally fine, like didn't get sick, which was amazing. And then after my second session of Kambo, I have taken mushrooms and didn't have the like anaphylactic shock reaction, so that was awesome. And I have also done San Pedro, and I didn't have any, I just only had positive, amazing experiences with the San Pedro. So the intention around healing around plant medicine happened, and then I've been able to embark upon this plant medicine journey, which has been really beautiful, and I'm super, super grateful for that. And so there's some other medicines in my future that now that I've done my final round of Kambo, I'm excited about being able to do. So I'm looking forward to some experiences with Bufo and peyote, and gonna do a proper mushroom ceremony, I think. And obviously I'll share that. I share more about that stuff because obviously legalities and stuff like that. I share more about that and that kind of stuff in my Telegram channel because it's encrypted and protected. So if you haven't subscribed to my Telegram channel, it's called the Wealth Witch channel. Definitely do. I share all kinds of stuff in there. I don't know who of my team is on, so I'll try to get in here and give you the link to the channel. So I roped Soraya into coming and doing Kambo with me. She's only been here a month. I mean, it's better than Pete though. Literally, Pete had been here like 3 days and we made him do a 12-hour San Pedro journey with us, and he'd never done plant medicine at that point. So But it was actually, maybe it was a little bit nicer than what we did to Soraya, which was like, no, Kambo. But I actually really wanted her to do Kambo because I feel like being able to clean yourself out of a lot of the baggage that you carry, the programming and the conditioning with Kambo is really helpful going into other plant medicines. Like at least that's what I found. That was my experience. I didn't have it another way, so I don't know, but from what I've heard, there, Laura dropped the link for the Wealth Witch channel. So definitely hop in there if you want to know more of the details of some of this stuff, because I can share more in that private space. Plus you get early access to all kinds of stuff and exclusive access to stuff, and so it's a good place to be. Do you want to come share your story?
Yeah.
So Soraya moved here just over a month ago. Well, almost
December
6
1st.
weeks. Yeah, so December
I was
1st.
here December 1st.
She landed on my birthday and came straight away to my birthday and anniversary party in Abood. And
So really got dropped in, really.
yeah, got dropped in.
Perfect.
Right in. The next week we went on an incredible investment trip to Lombok.
Yes.
So
It's been nothing but amazingness since I've been here. Definitely.
So this is Soraya.
Hi. I'm
And for
Sarah.
those of you that don't know her.
Yes.
So I was like, hey, I'm gonna go do Kambo. Do you want to come with?
And I was definitely totally in because I've never, kind of like Leah's experience with all the hallucinogens and stuff like that. I'm the same way. I'm very, very sensitive to things. But I think second or third week I was here, I tried some funness with her friends. I don't know what we can say or not say with the mushrooms.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so when she asked me to do Kambo, I was like, I'm in. I'm here. I'm in Bali. I feel safe. I feel safe with Leah and her tribe that she's introduced me to. And it's very interesting that she was telling you guys about seeing the frogs, because actually the first few nights I was here and riding around on the scooters, I saw frogs everywhere. And this was way before she had even mentioned Kambo. So when she told me about Kambo and the frog, it was like, I've already seen signs for this. They weren't in my shower, although I've had monkeys and crabs and lizards in my shower.
like every
Yeah.
animal in Bali is basically come and visited her in her shower. I'm like, I've never seen a monkey at our house. I've never seen a crab on our grounds.
Yeah.
And they just all go to her shower.
And we're far, well, not far, we're right on the ocean, but far enough. It's like, why is there crabs in my shower?
I mean, you guys know, you guys have seen. It's like,
Yeah.
it's quite, her thing is like another house back, like in our complex. So it's quite a little trek for crabs to be climbing back there.
So as far as my Kambo journey goes, so I just moved here, as we've mentioned, and I literally just got up and left. I sold everything in Utah.
You guys have,
Can I not see that?
she just saw herself.
Packed
like,
everything into 2 suitcases that I moved here with. 2 suitcases and my golf clubs. That's all I came here with. So if you know me, if you don't know me, I'm Princess Soraya with all of the things, and got rid of all of the things to move here. Went through my second divorce. I have a 21-year-old son, and had a high-end lingerie business that I got out of in February. So this is a whole new life for me. So my intentions going into Kambo was I got rid of all the material things. It was to get rid of all the emotional baggage that I had with the divorces, the business, the leaving all the things, my guilt that people have given me for leaving my son, and he's 21, leaving my son in the U.S. I left him, even though he hasn't lived with me since he was 18. So it was, if I could say it in one word, it was emotional. Full on emotions. The second I walked in the door, was in tears and couldn't stop. I mean, I could stop them, but if you looked at me or if you talked to me, spoke to me, or if I had to speak, it was in tears, crying. So I also learned, it's a personal thing. When Leah talks about purging, it's purging from wherever it needs to come out of. Let's just put it that way. It's not just your mouth. So to be able to be in a group of people that are literally seeing you at your ugliest state. I mean, when you're projectile vomiting.
Like The Exorcist.
Like The Exorcist. Oh my gosh, that video of this you coming down the stairs backwards was hilarious. And you have to do this with people that you trust. And it was amazing to be with Leah and Taryn and Pete and Matilda and her assistant Jasmine, and feel so comforted that whatever was coming out of me, and these demons and these insecurities and these fears, you know, and that would have been one of my big fears, you know. And in the ceremony I said, I want to let go of these fears. I don't even know what fear I'm wanting to let go of, and now that I'm talking about it, it's actually coming out. I'm enlightening myself right now.
That's how it works.
You know, who wants to do that in front of a bunch of people you don't know? I've known these people for a month, and I don't know them personally. It's like we get together a couple times a week. You know, I don't know them, but I came out of it not feeling judged one bit, and feeling actually closer, you know, to these people, and wanting to be closer even now. So that was an amazing feeling as well. I also learned about myself that I cannot watch my friends be in pain.
Oh my God.
Or sad.
So this time, the last 2 times, the hormone headache has come on after Kambo, like when I've been back at my home, in my home. This time, it came on before I even had the medicine on my body. The medicine was already working through me. I literally threw up before I even had the medicine on. By the way, that's I'll show you guys. So my first time I had 3 dots of Kambo here. My second time I did it on my legs and on my ears. This time, those are my 4
that is so
dots.
Cool. I didn't see that one.
So she made a little design on my shoulder because those are my scars from the first time. So those are my 4 dots. And Soraya did hers on her leg.
I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's her. Did you get 3?
3.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she has 3 dots. But I literally had no medicine on me. I was flushing. I was
the last one to
barfing.
go.
I was puking. I had to watch everybody else go through their full process, which was brutal to watch everyone.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was saying to myself, I was like, this is part of my journey this time, is to watch, to like sit in this and watch everybody go through their thing was part of my process. Like, I kept saying that to myself. I'm like, yeah, there's something in this, like me experiencing what everybody's going through. Because if you know me, I'm an energy worker. So literally, like, the whole time Pete was going through his thing, I was like burping.
Oh yeah, and I
like,
was crying.
But she's crying, I'm burping. I'm like, so every time everyone was processing, like at some level, I was processing as well. And so by the time, so Taryn was right before me. By the time, Taryn was still like ending her process. By the time she was ending her process, I could feel the medicine going through my body. It's a very distinct feeling when the medicine enters into your lymphatic system, because you can feel it traveling through your body. And I could feel it traveling through my body, and I had no medicine on my body. And so then it was
intense.
All of a sudden I'm like, I'm purging my water already without having
Bright
the medicine
red,
on me.
tears,
Turning bright red, bawling because I'm
Yeah.
in like such excruciating pain. I'm like holding my head, crying.
Saying she didn't want to do it.
I know, I was like,
She's
I don't want to do it. I don't
wanna
want to do it.
So I'm bawling. I was trying to eat fruit, and I'm watching her just sobbing as well. So yeah, it was a learning experience. I mean, I could feel Pete when Pete was going through his stuff. I'm crying. The only person I didn't go through anything with was Taryn, but
Yeah,
apparently she was a
just
goddess
like-
anyways. But I was actually, she went right after me, so I was on my pillow in my own still world, getting out of it. To talk about the clarity, I haven't realized any clarities. I've been more, like she was saying, I woke up, but I also realized this. So I was asking to let go of all the emotions and, you know, so I woke up basically not giving a fuck. So maybe I did let go of all the emotions. Because I woke up, I did not want to watch. I've been addicted, my little addiction to the show Harlots. Didn't want to watch it. Didn't want to do anything. Didn't want to get up and eat. Like, just wanted to stay in my little mosquito tent. Journaled only 1 page. which is not like me. Put my journal away, read, didn't want to read, just been like, okay, I don't know, I'm irritable, not irritable, but I do just want to be in my own space.
Yeah.
And as I talk, as I've journaled, as I've listened to Leah, I have had more clarity on things, and I can't wait for more. I know more will come.
It's
People,
definitely
you know,
like, I feel like there's a progression too. It's like as the days go by, it's like, and it's like things just drop in and you're like, I don't know. I highly recommend it. I think it's been one of the most incredible things that I've done. Like, I even can just see, I mean, like, I'm looking at my eyes on the live stream and I'm like, they're so clear. Like, there's just I don't know.
I would definitely recommend it. And as far as doing it
see
again,
what you're made of.
yeah, I didn't feel like yesterday I wanted to do it again. Today, I feel like I want to do it again, definitely. And I do feel like I want to do the ayahuasca. She's doing some major shit that I'm like, whoa, girl, maybe one day I'll get to there. But definitely an experience, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So maybe I'll have to when I have more clarity, get back on.
Yeah.
Did you tell him about the music or the?
Oh no. So Matilda does this beautiful sound healing
Oh my gosh.
session prior to the Kambo.
I had lots.
Almost, I don't know if it's good or not, because it's almost like you're like, oh, that's so beautiful. And then it's just like, bam.
And we're like, let's go do it again.
Oh my God. But I'm definitely going to go do a sound healing with her because it was so incredible. So incredible. I definitely feel like I'm in a journey with Kambo again this year, certainly. I have, I think now I want to move into like some of the more emotional stuff. Like I want to do a heart. I want to sit with Kambo on my heart. I feel like I'm ready to do that now. And I may do, well, I just want to do it for heart opening.
Oh, so I get it.
Yeah,
I get
so
it.
I'll do the
your intention.
Put the medicine, and then I'll put the medicine here.
Okay.
But I'll probably do that one-on-one with Matilda, I think. I think I want to like maybe have a solo ceremony with her and do that. So it definitely will not be till next quarter though, I can tell you that. Like I've got some other things that I'm going to be doing this quarter and I need a break from Kambo. Kambo and we're cool for a minute.
You guys are going to break up? You guys are on a break.
My face is a little swollen still.
You
like
look good though.
I'm a little puff especially because I can tell because I just did HIFU laser, and before my face was all like
flawless,
like this,
yeah.
And now it's a little, which is okay, but yeah. So yeah, pick me. Pick you to what? Oh, you're talking, guys, about finding a group in Australia to do it with. You guys should. I mean, I'll tell you something. I've done it, the first time I did it it was great to have Sean. I wanted Sean to go with me the first time because I was scared, and I like always want him to go do the things with me the first time because I know he'll just be like, he holds such a awesome, like, he just holds this great presence.
Yes.
So, he went the first time, which was great. So that time I did it there were 5 of us. And then I went just with Sarah the second time, which was beautiful. We had similar intentions, which is why we went together the second time. And then this time there were 4 of us. I think it's very special to experience plant medicine or animal medicine, I guess. Kambo's actually an animal guide, an animal medicine. I think it's beautiful to experience it with people because it is something, I think we're very tribal in nature and we've been programmed and conditioned to separate from each other. And so we have all this baggage, especially Kambo. I mean, it's fucking vulnerable, right? Like it is the most vulnerable, I think, aside from having a baby.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the most vulnerable.
Now, having Xander was like, glorious compared to that.
But I mean, like, as far as like, being seen and poked and prodded and like whatever, like it's, but it's vulnerable. And so to be able to like show up.
Oh, hi Keiko. Hi Kate.
Be able to show up vulnerably in front of people and like be held in your vulnerability and not be judged and
really feel not judged.
Like, well, I mean, like, just the whole time you're like sending support and love to the other person, because you're just like, you know, and you can't, the other thing is like, you can never be like, what are they going through? Like, it's such an individual journey. So you never know what they're going through, but you can see like what's happening to their body, and it's just, your heart is just like, oh, I love you. Like, I'm supporting you. I'm supporting you. I'm supporting you. You know, it's like all I could think the whole time as everyone was going through. I was kind of like on Taryn being like,
well, and
what the fuck?
I imagine like all of it going in and holding on to that. Like we hold on to that stuff.
Yeah. So it's beautiful, I think, to find a tribe of people to experience it with, for sure. So if you're feeling called to do that, I would definitely highly do it, especially like on a first time, because it was great. The other thing that was really great for me to do it with people the first time is to have someone to talk to about it. Like, so after, when you're processing and you're going through it and you're experiencing it, to like have somebody that you can be like, oh yeah, like this was crazy. This is what happened.
It was there. Yeah, felt that energy, felt the same energy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that was our journey. So I also just wanted to talk a little bit about, because I was thinking like, it's so incredible. Yeah.
Okay,
if you want.
bye guys.
She's like, are you done with me now? I want to go back to my room.
I want to go back to giving no fucks.
I want to go back to like the silence of my room, not talk to people for a couple of days. So one of the things that's been really incredible, like in these journeys for me, is this stepping into greater levels of self-mastery, right? Like, and self-mastery itself, these journeys of self-mastery are such individual journeys. And it's an interesting thing to facilitate people in journeys of self-mastery. And I just was like, yesterday with Matilda, I was asking her, I'm like, how many times have you sat with the frog? And she was like, I don't know, over 100. And I was just like, whoa, like, it's so incredible to me what people will put themselves through to expand and to grow spiritually. And I'm like fascinated with people's individual journeys and individual process. And so I've had this incredible gift of working alongside Michelle Patrick over the last, really closely over the last 12 months, developing and co-facilitating programs of self-mastery together. And, she's been so influential in helping me, guide me on my journey as well. And the more I discover about my own self-mastery journey, and the more I facilitate people through theirs, the more I realize just how powerful our desires are for spiritual growth and expansion. And the human body particularly is so incredible. And I just, going through Kambo this time, like one of the things at the end of it, I just was like amazed at what the human body has the ability to do. Like literally it has the ability to take this secretion of this frog, travel through our lymphatic system, and release anything that's no longer serving us. I mean, Kambo gets rid of parasites, it gets rid of, like, there's all this physical body stuff, it gets rid of joint pain, there's so many things that it treats, but it also can just clear out emotions. And so, if you've worked with me at all in my Immortal Alchemy programs, you know that I talk a lot about emotions actually just being pathology. Emotions are pathology. So we have physical pathology and we have emotional pathology. And to watch and witness people go through transformations once they've committed to journeys of self-mastery, I think it's the most rewarding thing I'm able to do in my business right now. I'm so passionate about deconstructing financial slavery consciousness. And if you follow me, you know that I'm so passionate about that. That is like, for me, that is divine mission work on this planet. Like, it's part of what I'm here to do. It's part of what I came here to do. But witnessing people on journeys of self-mastery and seeing the transformations that they make once they commit to self-mastery for themselves is probably one of the most, not probably, it is one of the most rewarding things I get to do in my business. So I have a group of women, 20 women actually, that have been going through Becoming Immortal with Michelle and I, and they're getting ready to be done here next month. And they're entirely different human beings in the way that they look. I mean, physically, they're entirely different human beings. Emotionally, they're entirely different human beings. Spiritually, they're entirely different human beings. But to tap into the like amazing, miraculous, wondrous thing that the human vessel is, this vessel that carries our divine immortal soul, it's mind-blowing. Because we're only operating at about 40, like our body only operates at about 40% of what it is actually capable of doing because of all the programming and conditioning and limitations that we place upon it. And to be able, I don't know how much we expand that capability of becoming immortal. It's a small percentage, right? Maybe it's 5%, maybe it's 5%, maybe we're expanding 5% of the capability of the physical body during this program. But the transformation from that 5% is so remarkable. These women will be forever changed. They will never, ever be the same again, and they can't unknow the information that they know now. And so, for them, it's like this continuation of the journey, which is, to me, beautiful and exciting. And so, yeah, like so we start another round of Becoming Immortal in the end of March, and it's a 6-month intensive journey of self-mastery and transformation. And I'm super excited actually for the women right now that are just wrapping Becoming Immortal, because I'm bringing in another thing that's been huge in my self-mastery journey, which is I'm bringing in the DNA expert I think next week he's coming in to talk about eating for our DNA. And then the women are going to have the ability to get their DNA tested and see exactly for their specific bodies what they should be eating and what they should be consuming, compared with all the 5-element theory knowledge that we've given them over the last 6 months, and all of the emotional clearing and all of the deconstruction of the programming around wellness and health. Like, it's so dope. It's so good. I know there's a bunch of women on right now on this live stream that have signed up for Becoming Immortal, actually. There's women on that have been in it for sure. You guys definitely share. And then there's a bunch of women on here right now that have signed up, which is super exciting. Yeah, so it's just been it's been such an incredible journey. I'm so excited to be exposing them to this final sort of part of Becoming Immortal, because it is a lifelong journey. It doesn't end. But I'm pumped to bring the next round of women into Becoming Immortal, because it was interesting. We knew that there was going to be radical transformation. We knew that there was going to be growth. We knew that people were going to experience radical shifts. I had no fucking idea it was going to be this impactful and this powerful. I had no idea that the transformation was going to be this deep and this real. So I'm super excited for the next round. So it's 6 months, literally 6 months of intense fucking self-mastery. There is a ton of theory and content. There is a lot of emotional clearing work. There is a lot of, you learn your constitutional factor. And so you're working within your elemental constitutional factor dietarily, with nutrition, with supplementation, with herbology. And so it's definitely a commitment. So that's beginning on March 23rd. So today's the last day of my 12 Days of Christmas sales. So if you already know you want in on that, you can get it for $4,000 right now, and it's $6,000 normally. So it's $2,000 off through 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on the 10th. Like, there's very limited time to still get in at that price. And there's a great payment plan available also. So if you already know you want to do that 6-month journey with me, like you want to come absorb all of this self-mastery journey that I've been on, and work with Michelle, who's a doctor of Chinese medicine and a practitioner of 5-element theory and a nutritionist and an herbologist and incredible. And you're already like, yep, I want in, sign me up. Do that. Something that's exciting is that if you sign up for Becoming Immortal, you also get Inner Alchemy, which starts on the 29th of January, because Inner Alchemy is actually a prerequisite to Becoming Immortal. So if you sign up there, you get to actually start with us in 2.5 weeks on your self-mastery journey, because we have a 6-week program, Inner Alchemy, that starts on January 29th. So if you're not quite ready to make the 6-month commitment, we are doing Inner Alchemy starting January 29th, which is a 6-week journey of self-mastery, which is a deep dive into the elements. And it is, we do look at diet and nutrition, but it's more like really foundationally learning how the elements work in your body. And there is some clearing also, elemental clearing, which is really, really incredible. So that is $444 for the next 24 hours. And then it moves up to $777. So you save $333 on that one. And you'll have an option, obviously, once you participate in Inner Alchemy, to then participate in Becoming Immortal if you feel called after doing Inner Alchemy. But if you already know you want Becoming Immortal, do it now, because literally save $2,000. I mean, save $2,000 for real. Laura, can you drop the link to the 12 Days of Christmas? But also maybe drop the link to Inner Alchemy lead page, because it still has the 12 days rate attached to it. I left that attached today as I was editing the lead page. So yeah, do you guys have questions about any of this? I love to just open up and answer any questions that you might have about the programs or about my journey or any of that stuff. But here's the thing. Last year was my 8-year numerologically, and I was doing a lot of foundational self-mastery things like the Kambo and really getting my hormones under control and all of that stuff. But I was really focused on money. I was really focused on abundance and prosperity and money in 2020. And I had the best financial year of my life, so that was incredible. 2021 is, for me, all about self-mastery. 2021 is all about my physical health, my commitment to expanding my physical vessel as much as I possibly can. So it's an incredible year to start taking self-mastery journeys with me. Everything that I do is going to have that spin in it, aside from my programs that are my Wealth Alchemy programs that are already existing. And I will still absolutely, obviously be doing all of that stuff. But everything else that I do, including my high-end mastermind, my new high-end mastermind that's going to be released at the beginning of second quarter, is going to have self-mastery components to it. And so it's going to be next level. Like, 2021 is about, for me, the chariot, the physical vessel, the physical body, and really making sure that I'm in it. So, oh, Priya, you didn't realize that because I just decided it. So we'll just have to apply it to something, to one of your payments. We can fix that. Well, 2 years is about relationships, and it can be your relationship with your body. Like, that's a relationship between your divine immortal soul and your physical vessel. That's a relationship, and 2 years are about relationships. So you absolutely can use the energy of a 2 year to transform your body. So no problemo. Any questions? Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing that's really cool about becoming immortal is you are releasing lifelong patterns. Like, and you release lifelong patterns because we've been programmed and conditioned our whole entire lives around wellness and what wellness means. And to think of it as this cookie cutter thing when it's not, it's individual. And that's the thing that I love about the programs that Michelle and I are facilitating is we are not facilitating a cookie cutter program that we want you to squeeze yourself into. It's about identifying what is good for the individual, because everybody's journey of self-mastery and everybody's journey of self-mastery and everybody's health journey and wellness journey. Wellness looks different for everyone. Not everybody can eat a fucking smoothie bowl every day. Not everybody can have a smoothie every day. Not everyone should be eating fruit every day, right? Like, it's very, very individual. And so it's important to like look at those things individually. Can I speak about how a 7-year affects us? Well, we're in a 5-year. I'd like to keep the questions kind of centered on wellness. 7 is the most spiritual of all the numbers, so it's a number of spirituality. And so I would, in a 7-year, I would focus on spiritual growth and expansion is what you will have the biggest bang for your buck, for sure, in a 7-year. Maria's in a 7-year too. 7 years are great. They can be very challenging though. I will tell you that. They can be very challenging because spiritual growth and expansion is difficult. Like, you have to face demons. You have to look at the shit that you're not willing to look at in order to actually grow and expand. So they can be challenging. My 7-year was the year that was my first year in Bali. 2019 was my 7-year. And yeah, it was intense. But beautiful. I was in Bali, so it was a great place to be during a 7-year. Would I recommend Kambo after becoming immortal or before? Either. Really either. Yeah, I mean, really either. I think it depends on if you're feeling called or not. I believe that Kambo is really something that you need to feel called. You need to feel called to. You need to feel called to the medicine. I'm sure that this live stream is going to trigger that calling in many people. And if you truly feel called, then, do it. Find a really, really good practitioner and do it. We can talk more about that. Priya, if you want to message me, I'm happy to talk to you more about that offline as well. Yep, I am familiar with ayahuasca. I actually talked at the beginning of this live stream and just said, like, I haven't fully been called to ayahuasca. I haven't really been called to do it. I did get a little bit of a twinge of I may end up doing ayahuasca. I think for me, if I were to do ayahuasca, I would be going with Michelle to Peru and doing it in Peru. Is my feeling on ayahuasca. If I did decide to do it, like, I would actually take a proper journey into the Amazon with Michelle and do it in that setting. I'm quite terrified of ayahuasca, honestly. And based on the experiences based on the experiences that Sean has had doing ayahuasca, he's done it, he did it 3 times in the United States and once in Peru. And then Michelle's sharing about ayahuasca, it would for sure be a Peru scenario for me if I choose to do it. Yeah, it could be an ERC practitioner trip. Certainly could be an ERC practitioner trip. powerful, powerful medicines on this planet. That is for sure. That is definitely for sure. So, yep. Well, if you have any other questions about inner alchemy or becoming immortal, let me know. Michelle and I have a group called The Element Factor, which is a free group on Facebook. And maybe, Laura, you can drop the link to that group. There's a 6-part live stream event in that group that gives you basic understanding of the 5 elements and some stuff on 5-element theory. And so it's a great place to, like, if you think you're interested in inner alchemy or becoming immortal, to like go watch that content first. And Michelle and I are going to be doing a master class in the next, probably the week after next, where we'll be talking more about 5-element theory and talking more about what inner alchemy and becoming immortal are going to be. So, yeah, join the Element Factor if you haven't already. So I think that's it. I am going to go journal now. I'm feeling like I wanted to live stream, so I've live streamed, I've talked to you and told you about all the things. And I'm gonna go do some journaling now and order some yummy food. And I think that's it. Inner Alchemy, January 29th. Becoming Immortal, March 23rd. The next round of pracs are beginning on March 30th. Next round of ERC practitioners, March 30th. So that's what's going on. We do have spots open in March and June for ERC practitioner training. So if you're feeling called to that, let us know. Those spots are going to fill quickly. We have an interview process that you can go through if you already know that you want to be a practitioner of our modality. So that's another thing that's out in the world and in the horizon at the moment. Yeah, so that's it. Have an amazing rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world as you are watching this live stream or you are watching the replay. And remember that it's your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life, including your health. And you are so worthy and you are so deserving. And I will see you soon. Mwah.